on locations throughout the world.
Standing passengers, please do not lean against the doors.
Picture goers, we bring to you new films of interest.
Chicago in State is next. Doors open on the left.
The miracle of the motion picture.
Please be considerate when talking on your phone or listening to electronic devices.
Chicago's a nice town if you're looking for pizza.
Welcome to 4 Stars, a Chicago film podcast, a podcast about movies set in Chicago. I'm one of your hosts, Paco Alvarez. For this episode, my co-host Jeremy Martyr and I interviewed Will Morris, a film programmer at the Music Box who's part of the team that programs the Music Box of Horror series throughout the month of October, as well as the 24-hour horror movie marathon. We talked to Will about how he got his start in film programming, the process the Music Box of Horrors team goes through to program the series, as well as a preview of some of the movies to watch out for. Hope you enjoy the conversation.
All right, and just want to welcome to the podcast Will Morris, programmer at the Music Box Theater, as well as print traffic coordinator.
Hello, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
We are we're sitting in Terror Vision as we speak, which is right next door. It's a pop-up shop right next door to the Music Box. Will, as we sit in here and you're looking at all these movies, can you talk a little bit about your experience as a programmer, going from different places and then moving to Chicago?
Yeah. Let's see. I'll make it as brief as I can. But long story short, when I lived in Denver, working for the C Film Center out there, actually not at that theater, but I started showing movies in a coffee shop basement next door to it. Because I'd pitched things to the theater and they said, we love these, but there's no audience in Denver for it. And that was true at the time. But I was like, well, if I do them for free, maybe it'll work. And so I started showing movies in a basement and I would hand out like packets and shit. And it was very over the top. But did that. And one of the guys, his name Walter Chaw, who was at the time running the Littleton Alamo Draft House, he came to one of the screenings because I was showing Japanese Summer Double Suicide. He came and he said, I can't believe you showed that. This is amazing. Come do a series at the Draft House. So I did a musical series over there, and then got fired from the Film Center, ran away to LA with the hopes and dreams of working at Cinefamily, got very lucky, did that. All that happened, worked at the Cinematheque and for Slam Dance out there, and then ran away from LA after that got crazy and came here. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know, my general approach to programming that I'd use everywhere, I would say, is that the kinds of ideas that excite me are impossible things. I try to always start with something that I know definitely could never happen and won't ever be pulled off, but I find that if you start there and then whittle your way down, you end up with something very special that still has that spirit to it. And yeah, it's definitely very different city to city. I would say the easiest time I ever had programming was LA because people are so down for anything. And there were, not that we didn't have to work hard to get people to come to like really out there rare stuff, but there's more of a, I would say, scene built in of people already looking for that stuff. Whereas, and it has changed in Chicago, but especially when I first got here in 2019, it was definitely a lot of work to convince folks they wanted to see stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What brought you specifically to Chicago?
Well, I'm from Southern Illinois originally, so being closer to family again, because I'd been in California for a while. So Ryan Oestreich, who runs the Music Box, used to run that same theater that I worked at in Denver. We knew each other then. He left to come here. I went to LA, and he then called me in 2015 to start asking if I wanted to host and program the 24-hour marathon. And so I'd fly out every year for that. And then there was a conversation in October of 2018 when I was in town for the marathon. It was like 4 a.m. and I came on that trip with $0 and I didn't tell anybody. So I was just, eating popcorn here and there. And then I ran out of cigarettes and I was like, I can't fucking finish this marathon without it. And so I very sheepishly asked Ryan if he would buy me cigarettes. And so we went on a walk and he bought me cigarettes and he asked if I was okay. And I said, no, I'm going to die if I stay in LA, And he said, this is nothing official at all, but I've been thinking about it anyway. If there's a job for you out here, would you be interested? And I said, hell yeah, I'd love to. And then 1 month before January 1st, he called me and said, all right, if you want to come, you can move here and start January 1st. And so I FedExed all my shit to here and then got on a plane and came.
Amazing. You mentioned a little bit that reticence of Chicago audiences to just automatically buy into what you're talking about. Can you talk a little bit about that difference between your experiences in Denver with audiences, your experience in LA with audiences, and Chicago audiences?
Yes, because I actually really cherish it. We'll round out why Chicago is my favorite on that realm. Denver is just tough because it feels trapped between a big city and a small city. And I think as a result, folks are just a little skittish about exploring outside of their initial interests. So what that means is I had tons of friends who were like do experimental musicians, noise musicians, and all that, and they were amazing. And I would go to their shows at this like little punk house. Next door to that was another punk house that was for movies. They would never go. They would never go unless they needed to play a live score or something. And like it was very, and like not in a petty way or a fighting way. Like the scenes were not upset with each other.
It was just regimented.
Yeah, people really didn't step outside of it that much. So that was really hard to convince people to do that. LA, LA is LA. So if something is cool, you can get everyone to do it. And so when I was working at Son of Himley, we were the spot to be. And so we could throw up almost anything on screen and sell it out. Because that was our rule. We were like, with the right marketing, there's not a single movie in existence that you can't sell out one time. And so we would do that a lot. But yeah, LA people, and this is not even an insult. I was the same when I was there. LA people will jump very quickly from one thing to another because they want to see it all and take it all in and also not be left behind. So I think that's a big part of it out there. Chicago, and why I love it the most is because, as we all know, Chicago is a massive city, but it couldn't feel more like a small town, especially with that reticence you're talking about that people have here, because it's a very working class town and you can feel it in a way that I love. But because of that, folks are fucking skeptical of someone coming in, especially a new person, to tell them what they should be interested in or that they need to be interested in something. And I love that about Chicago. It was I remember clear as day, the first marathon I hosted, I said to Ryan before he introduced me, I said, please do not say that I am from LA. I was like, I'm from Illinois, and if you say I'm from LA, because these people are already like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right,
Why is he here? Because it was for different hosts for the first time in like a decade.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he forgot and said, all the way from Los Angeles. And I got up on stage and about half the audience clapped, and I won't repeat it. This person is now my friend, but a certain middle-aged gentleman yelled out a thing telling me to kindly make my way back to LA in so many words. And so it did. It took, a couple years for people to trust me that I was not this West Coast bitch, being holier than thou kind of stuff.
Right.
Because I think reasonably so, Chicago people are very skeptical to trust coast people. In the same way coast people won't trust the other coast.
Yeah.
Chicago is like, both y'all are crazy.
I think I agree with that completely. But a thing I've noticed, and I do think the internet flattens everything a little bit, is that like same thing that makes me want to be like, well, fuck LA, New York. We're incredibly like younger sibling about it. We're incredibly jealous. We're like, they get fucking everything. For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to that edge as well of being like, well, fuck you. Like, so I can imagine being someone sitting in an audience and this, 7'10", skinny as a piece of paper with like hair down to your belly person comes up and they're like, oh, LA's own William Morris. But you're not. You're a Midwest person with a lot of different life experience in different directions. And you've seen Chicago really embrace you with open arms, because there's also that thing, like once you're in, we'll never forget you. We'll build statues to Mike Ditka for the rest of the time.
It's true. Yeah.
There's a the bar is really low for us accepting people, but there is a bar.
Well,
it's
I
not
think
LA.
like from my standpoint anyway, And it's the same because since I grew up, definitely far from here, because 5.5 hours south, but still in Illinois. I do think, since it's such a working class place, Chicago people need to believe that you're putting in the fucking work.
Yeah.
And I love that, though, because you know me, I love discipline. I love extreme workhorse folks who will die for what they love. And I think that's why Chicago was so kind to me so quickly, because I'm crazy. And I think they could tell after, the second year that I, will die for movies.
Yeah.
And so I think they were like, yes, correct. This one put in the time, so we'll let him stay.
Speaking about putting in the work, I want to talk a little bit about your multiple projects that you have going on. One being the box of horrors that you've been doing for years, and one Terror Vision. So let's move from one to the other. Can you give us a little preview? The month of October is coming, and that means that most people are going to be camping out at the Music Box Theater for all month long. Can you talk a little bit about your preparation process, how you go through the movies, and then maybe we can work through some of the movies in the series?
Yeah. So the way it works for the month, the 31 days, this year it's called Dead and Loving It, because we like stupid little jokes. So if you want to read that stupid little joke, it's on the website. But yeah, it is me, Katie Reif, and Ryan Ostrich. Katie has recently moved to Jersey, but she's still doing it with us this year, and we'll be back in town to host stuff. But we start meeting this year, thankfully, was about 9 months out. We have our initial meeting, and the first thing we do in that is we all get to basically pitch any amount of stuff that we are really ready to, die on the hill for. And so we all do that, and then very quickly we all, yay or nay, if we have a strong feeling, bump that up to the list. And at the end of that first meeting, we're at, about 100 titles or whatever, ideally, is the goal. And then we just keep meeting every month and a half or so and whittling away. And of course, sometimes right stuff or print availability or guest availability then automatically knocks things off of there, or it brings something in if an opportunity comes up. So you just keep doing that as fast as you can. Until we could then get to the final meeting where there's all the things we've agreed on. And then this year, the way it went, it was a fun moment because all of us, Ryan was like, I have another meeting in 10 minutes. And I said, I do too. And he goes, okay, we each get to just finish one of these slots, no arguments from the other. And so we did that this year, and that was quite enjoyable. But yeah, so it's a true family affair. We all do the bookings. We all reach out to various guests. We very much just conquer and divide kind of thing. And then check in and go from there. Yeah. And it's I think we do have a good system in place of continually checking each other too. And also as far as variety of the films, because we try very hard to get as many different kinds of things as we can into it, since it is 31 days. We don't want it to be stale, and also we don't want to waste the opportunity we've been given where people have given us this platform, because we can now at this point, not that everything will sell out or anything, but folks will come to anything we do. They trust us.
Yeah.
So there'll at least be some people who show up, and we don't want to waste that trust. So we try to constantly push ourselves, to keep watching movies we haven't seen, keep talking to each other, challenging each other if we feel an idea is stale or whatever, until we land on something that we're all happy with.
How does the process differ for like the 24-hour marathon?
That one is just me and Ryan.
Okay.
So we do that one. And that one we start working on during the marathon the year previous.
Okay.
So like usually, typically after we intro the like 10 a.m. movie, so the last one, we'll crack a beer. And then we sit up in the office, talk about how we feel about, how it's gone, if we've already got audience feedback, yada, yada. And then we start talking about next year right then. I typically start on my own side with a list of about 400 movies is usually what I try to compile. And it's a combination of shit that I have not got to show in the past that will stay on that list forever till I do. New stuff I've seen, stuff I've heard about that I haven't seen yet. I start there, and then me and Ryan have a Google Doc where we each start putting stuff that for sure we think we should consider, and then we send the movies back and forth to each other if the other one hasn't seen it. Start from there. And it's really, it can get intense. For example, for this year, I'm not done yet. And right now it is September 21st. Mm-hmm. This Marathon is less than 1 month away, and I still have movies to book.
That's how I know it's going to be good this year.
Yes.
You guys are going to pull something out of thin air. Like every time, I mean, I'm not a horror expert by any means. So whenever I have to sort of give in to the programming and just be like, I'm not going to be an expert on this thing. And every year you guys open a door for me that like, I just like find like 6 or 7 things behind it. And I'm like, oh my God, like this one, like last year was Noroi the Curse, where I was like you went up on stage, you're like, yeah, people in Japan hate this one. They never accepted it. It rules. It's so good. It's SOV, you know, like all these things. And I watched the movie. It like blew me away. I was like actually scared.
Oh, it's horrifying.
And I like, and it's so rare these days for me to like actually be afraid of something.
Yes.
And you guys balance that well. The tones of like, sometimes the movies are just evocative and good. And some of them make you want to crawl out of your skin. They're so scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, not to as I'm a teacher on the side, and there's a lot of slang that I'm picking up on from these students. Not to glaze you too much.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I like it.
But I will say Will's the best at introing. And not making you feel bad about not seeing things.
Yeah.
It is not a competition. It is not who can lift the most films above their head and prove, yes, I've seen it. It's about being a champion for movies, about being a champion for this type of movie, and not making you feel bad about not seeing other things that are like it, and just being excited that there's a whole nother world behind it. So thank you for the work you've done. I'll stop being nice now.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. I mean, that means the world to me, because that's something that I fucking hated even since before I was a programmer, just as a movie obsessive person, because I just ran into so many people. And then once I was in the world, ran into so many programmers who love to lord shit over people. And it's fucking lame and embarrassing, I think, and truly so childish. We're not in junior high. When I hear that someone hasn't seen something, I'm just fucking stoked for them, because I'm like, wow, what you have ahead of you is so exciting. And especially like something like Noroi, we flew in a 35 millimeter print of that from Japan, and that movie shot on mini DV, and mini DV blown up to 35 is such a special thing. And yeah, I met so many people there who hadn't seen it, and it's great now because it's gone on for long enough year wise, and enough people that I've talked to that people know that I am that way now, and that I'm not going to judge them. Because I hate to see it. It happened all the time in LA at Cinefamily, because we're a volunteer organization largely. And these young film students would come in, and I would see other programmers like just fucking ridicule them for whoever their favorite filmmaker was, right? Like if this 19-year-old was like, Wes Anderson's my favorite thing on earth. It is, I think, in my opinion, a demented response to be like, excuse me, you don't know anything about Hungarian cinema, you fucking loser. No, what you do is you're like, oh shit, that rocks. Have you checked out the guys that he loved? Then you can talk about Satyajit Ray, or you can talk about a million, Jean Renoir, like all these people based on what they already like, and it's just exciting. And
I will say your brain just kind of works like that. Like you're saying, like the 400 titles you start with sort of thing is like, that's just, that's an easy day for you. I've only ever once in my entire life gotten Will where you were like, oh, I don't know what that is. And that was a special day. It was that, what was that? That animated movie.
Oh yeah, the mouse, the cheese and the mouse and the key.
Yeah.
Mouse and something.
Yeah, it's this very strange movie. And then Will was like, I've never heard of that. And then within an hour, I had an email from Will with the full film itself. You had hunted it down.
Yeah. Rallied
it was great. It was so interesting.
Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
It was by the same sort of people who did The Point.
Yes.
Yeah, that sort of style. All right, let's talk a little bit about the movies in the series this year, because there's some bangers in here. You're starting with In My Skin.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
In My Skin is one of my absolute favorites. I'm mildly allergic to the acceptance of the term New French Extremity. Even though it works for categorization, whatever. Not mad at anyone who uses it, but I do think it diminishes a lot of the films that came out in that time. If I'm being petty, I think it is a great label for some of the films that came out in that time. But a lot of them really, really, really rise above, I think, something like that. And this is one of those. Incredible film. It's a really tough one, and honestly, it's a pretty weird way to start the month, but I love that. This is it's a movie made by someone who struggled with self-harm to a really extreme degree and decided to make a horror film about it. As someone who also has struggled with that shit in that realm, I find it an incredibly therapeutic and healing experience. I did when it came out. I do to this day every time I watch it. So I'm really excited, and it's been a while since it's been readily available, so we're very excited. It'll be a Seven Films new 4K restoration, which is great, especially for a film like this because it's so dark. Like, the lighting is excellent, but like if you watched it in the old days on DVD, you can't see anything because DVDs just can't handle lighting like that. Just doesn't work. So I'm very excited. So it will be, for folks listening, it's definitely a tough experience, but I do think a very rewarding one. So if you're interested in something a little more challenging than usual to kick off the month, because normally, you start with I do agree this is a banger, but you start with like a widely accepted banger. But instead we were like, you know what, why not? Let's get in the weeds.
So if day one is like advanced level, what's a good beginner's level in that first week?
Day three. Friday is what would normally be the first day, because Friday is Tales from the Crypt Demon Night.
Oh, nice.
That's just a movie that rocks. I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't agree with that. It's just like, even my mom, who hates horror movies and gets upset when people say fuck, like, loves this movie. Like, you just can't resist it. It's incredible. Yeah. Ernest Dickerson, of course, but I would say absolutely start right there. If you don't want to, because our first 2 days, which we'll talk about, are definitely, for folks who want to go a little further with their horror stuff. Both excellent, but yeah, so hop in on Demon Night.
Yeah, let's talk about day two.
Day two.
That is a series that you're collaborating with me, the Animated Adventures series that I've been doing at the Music Box for a little bit now. Will's been a champion and a supporter of the animated series, which has been really great. And I came to Will and I was like, I really want to do an animated horror movie, and we were going back and forth. You gave me some ones that I'd never heard of before, and I was like doing my homework. And then one day, I think I was just working, and you were like, Jeremy, you've like brought up that you love Alice by Jan Svankmajer many times to me. Why don't we just do that? And I was like, you're right. That is a horror movie. I hadn't categorized it as such, I think, because of the Alice in Wonderland connotations. But we're going to be doing Alice, and it's going to be in the small theater, and it's like more than halfway sold out right now.
Yeah, that'll be gone soon.
It'll be gone soon.
I imagine this week.
If you are listening to this,
yep,
and there's still tickets, buy it now because it will sell out. And I also just told a whole almost sold out crowd of fandom thread to buy tickets.
Oh shit, selling out today.
So exciting. But yeah, that movie rules. It's so special to me. But why do you think it's a horror movie? What about it?
One of the reasons I love it so much, and honestly his whole filmography, because in my opinion there's no movie that he's made that I would be able to call just one thing.
Yeah.
Not a single one. Because I would also personally, you'd have to push a little, but I think you could make it fit in the whole, to also say Little Otik could work as a horror film. But again, none of them are just one thing. And Alice is the perfect encapsulation of that, I think, because it is a fantasy film. It's a children's film for sure. But it is just fucking horrifying.
It is.
In a very unique and special way, because the film, the way, at least to me, the way he animates, especially when it's not meat,
Right.
is very inviting, I think.
Yeah.
It's odd for sure. Like, it's very queer.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, I mean like in the, I guess the old sense of the word,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like truly feels very off, but in a welcoming way.
Yeah.
And once you settle into it, then you're kind of trapped in this world because his filmmaking is so strong and his world building is so strong. And so this movie does that out the gate, because the opening, and I won't spoil it for folks who haven't seen it, but it's very odd.
Yeah.
And also when it starts, you're going to say, Will and Jeremy are liars. This is not animated.
Yeah.
But it is.
We are not lying.
Well, yes, we're not lying. But by the time the things that I think are horrifying begin to happen, you are so invested in this film and you are in this world, whether you want to be or not. And I do think you truly start to feel like Alice, and you feel horrified at the same way that she does, and curious the same way she does, and it becomes all encompassing. And, I don't think this is a depressing film necessarily, but I do think it will shake you up by the end because you truly go on that journey with her.
I agree completely. I do think like anything from a child's perspective is just a little unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
And that childhood fear, those fears, like they really get brought out by the filmmaking in this. And she's just so little.
She's so little.
The world's so big.
Yeah. And it's truly, it's that amazing thing, like if you remember from when you were a kid of just, and I know it's not the same for everybody, but I grew up in a very small town. And in that time, you could still just like, it was normal for kids to say to their parents, I'm going to go ride bikes today.
I'm gonna go disappear.
I'll be back at sundown. And we would just go in the woods or around town or whatever and just get fucking lost and find stuff and find old cars with weird dead critters in them. And this movie feels like doing that as a kid. When you just start exploring, and just like in the film, like as the sun begins to set and things get a little weirder and shadows get stranger and your imagination starts to come alive, those moments when it does become horrifying, like this movie recreates that exact experience. Yeah.
Is there any other things in that first couple weeks of the fest that you just want to be like, don't miss this one?
There's too many, but I'll force myself. Okay, so this one I will give a warning with. Wake and Fright on Sunday, October 5th is the matinee. Wake and Fright, I think, is one of the absolute greatest horror films ever made. Just heads up for folks. Though no animals were harmed in the making of the film, this movie employs actual footage of kangaroo hunts. They didn't shoot it for the movie. It's footage they used of previous kangaroo hunts, but they use it in the movie. So it's fucking harrowing. I will not lie. But if you are like me and sometimes you want a horror movie truly to like rock you to your core, this movie will do that. Okay. And it's amazing because really all it is saying is, being trapped with Australians in the heat is horrifying, which it is. Yeah. And I love Australians, but my time there, even though I was not in the outback, reflected this so intensely. And I'll never forget the first day I was there. I'm not necessarily a guy's guy all the time. And I was at a family gathering and the men were meant to sit in one room and watch sports and drink beer. And the women were meant to work in the kitchen and drink champagne. I wanted to be in there. They were talking about fucking musicals, but I needed to be with the men. And they offered me a beer. And, I was like, oh, I'm good. Truly record scratch. And they were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's one of the most disrespectful things you could ever do. And so then I just was chugging beers with them, which is the horror of Wake and Fright. A movie about people making you think that it's incredibly rude not to chug beer with them, and then the horrors that come when you drink for 3 days straight. It's amazing. Otherwise, Red Lips for shot on video fans and lesbian vampire fans. Don't miss that one. Marley's Revenge. This will be the world theatrical premiere from our friends at VH Shitfest. And this is a regional shot on video, like true, wonderful backwoods, kind of folk horror-ish, little oddity made by, a couple people and $300 that really knock it out of the park. Great creature stuff. The Friday, the last one that I'll stop for now, but Friday, October. Okay.
Yeah. I could listen to this all day.
I'll just go quick then. Friday, October 10th, when we all got to just pick one with no veto. This is a movie I've been trying to show for a long time, and I do think wisely. Katie and Ryan have always been like, well, I don't know if it'll go well. Last House on Dead End Street by Roger Watkins, who's primarily known for being an adult film director. But he made this movie, and I'll go into it in the intro a lot, the history of this, but briefly just to entice folks. This movie was so legendary because no one could figure out who made it or where it came from. No one knew anyone who was in it. Everyone thought it was actually a snuff film for years until like 10 years ago. And the way that it was finally discovered is the director of the film commented on a forum post and was like, hey, I'm the guy who made it. But this is, I will not lie, this is the most challenging film we'll be showing all month. This is one of the most challenging films that exists. As far as ones that are actually good. There are a lot of movies that are way more, offensive or transgressive that just suck. This one's amazing because it is truly, I think, an art house masterpiece literally mixed with heroin addicts making a film together who are all like art theater kids, porn people, art house film people, Shakespeare people, all mixed into this insane blender. And it is a harrowing experience that, if you are interested in that sort of thing, will change your life straight up.
And that's the same
It's amazing.
background as Adam's Family Values as well.
Yes, that's the intro I will give for both. Yes.
Is there anything else on here? I mean, there's so many good stuff. I mean, I just like that you guys mix in, movies that were made in the last decade with movies that were made in the 20s and 30s.
Yep.
We have Phantom of the Opera with a live score.
Yep.
That one I'm really looking forward to. There's like the release of a new movie, Mr. K. There's all these different things.
Yeah, Crispin
mixed
Glover's
in.
coming, by the way.
Crispin Glover's coming for that.
shit.
He will be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're also showing, it's not in the 31 days technically. I forget how it's working, but his new movie that he directed.
It's called something weird like, no, stop doing that.
It's got what we call a Crispin Glover title. If you've never seen his films or see him perform, do not miss the chance, my friends. We love this man. Truly a singular human being.
He's the one where you can't. His movies aren't available outside of.
Nope, you can watch
theatrical.
them.
Yeah.
You can watch them when he's there.
Yeah.
The end. And it's cool though because it's not in like the way that even though I do like some of his movies, that a certain I'll just be nice. A certain person named Matthew Barney does, where you can only watch them at really insanely expensive museum screenings, and no one's allowed to come who's not rich and perfect. Also, it's not like that. Crispin's just a wild man, and he wants to be there because his introductions, which are performances, are part of the films. It's all really, couldn't recommend it more. I haven't fucking seen it. Just be here when Crispin Glover's in the room.
Yeah,
You
you're
won't
endorsing
regret.
the idea
Yes,
of
just
the
him.
experience.
Him there, go there. That's yeah.
And
Can
for
I?
those,
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no. You
Go
go.
ahead.
I was gonna say, for those who don't know who Crispin Glover is, he's the dad from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yes.
is.
Like
From the
it's
first
like
one.
it's like because there's this is gonna be a mix of people listening to this who've never seen a horror movie before in their life,
Sure.
and people who only watch horror movies.
Yep.
So just like, and I think that's the magic of the music box is you get people who are like the biggest, those with the deepest knowledge and those who are just beginning their journey.
Yep.
And
Yep.
all that mixing at the same time, which is what makes it such a delicious stew.
It's the best. Okay, just two more to highlight, if that's okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just want to highlight Twisted Issues. Charles Pinion is coming. If you don't know Charles Pinion, he is one of the most legendary of the transgressive film world, underground film world, punk film world. I already embarrassed myself in an email to him, inviting him, where I accidentally, because I was so excited, and I don't get like this normally, I told him I would have killed myself in high school if I didn't have his movies, and that is true. These movies changed what I thought of the world. I didn't know there were other people who had big, enormous hearts, but also had very scary violence in their brains as a child, and this guy is that. And this film, if you don't know it, he's from Gainesville, Florida, and he was filming all the punk bands in the 80s there, an incredible punk scene, like some of the best shit that exists till this day. He was filming them with his friends, and they were like, wait a minute, we could just start doing some crazy shit and turn this into a movie. And so it is a weaving of a really transgressive, strange splatter horror film with live music performances that are fucking incredible.
That's awesome.
And Charles is an absolute peach. He's still just bowled over that anyone cares. So that's going to be amazing. And then last one I'll highlight. On Thursday, October 23rd, we are showing an Egyptian film called Anyab, a.k.a. Fangs. This is usually known as the Rocky Horror Picture Show Egyptian ripoff, which it is to a point, but it is very, very much its own thing. It's a beautiful film, excellent musical. This is also very exciting. I won't say who because they asked to remain anonymous, but this is kicking off a new tour of this film showing where the rights holders, one of them has been located, but they can't be, there's no way to get the money. They are literally trapped in Lebanon at the moment. And so basically between them and another person who brought this to my attention, what we all worked out and agreed on is what we are doing to show this film. Any theater, I will send them the DCP and they can show it. All they have to do is donate to a Palestinian relief fund of their choice to be able to show the film. And so that's what we're doing until the rights are fixed and the people who made it can be paid. So they're at least helping out people in the region. So very excited for that one, and truly just, if you're the kind of person that just loves movies you can't believe exist, this is one of those. As soon as it starts, you'll just be like, no fucking way.
That's extremely exciting. That means everyone should be buying tickets for that movie.
Yep.
That's on October 23rd.
Yes, it is.
So
Yep.
everybody buy tickets for that. and for the rest of the series.
Yeah, there's too much because I could talk about everything.
I know.
I love
come to the series
all
and
of
talk to
these.
Will. Will is very approachable. We'll talk about each of these movies. There's one more I want to talk about. It's the last film in the series. Bar for bar, the scariest movie I've ever seen. Cure.
Yes.
Not due to the extremity of the violence.
Just the bad vibe.
It's got the worst vibes of an apartment I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yep. It's Kiyoshi magic. Kiyoshi Kurosawa is a master of everything that he tries, but when you're talking about his if you want to talk about his auteurist stamp, it is fucking dread, and it is so upsetting. All his films, name any of them, even the ones that are straight up, because he made some Pink films that are intellectual comedies of sorts at the beginning. Those still have the fucking dread. He is just able, with editing and cinematography and blocking, to do something to your stomach whenever he wants to. And it's incredible. If you are a person who's movies aren't scary anymore, and you haven't seen this shit, come to it and you will be so unsettled. And it's honestly, I would put this in the top 5 horror films of all time. I've thought that since I saw it years and years ago. As soon as I saw it, I was like, what the fuck? First movie I saw by him, became obsessed. And it's going to be an incredible Halloween. That show also will surely sell out. So I'd grab tickets for that one too.
Get tickets to Cure. Do you know that Ein showed that as her going away film?
Yes.
That's just one of our favorite coworkers who had to leave the Music Box, unfortunately. As her final film chose Cure, and I'm like, you're cool. You want to freak everyone out.
Yeah.
That.
And if you love to be challenged too, because I love when people tell me a movie's truly horrifying, because I want to be scared, right? I don't like to be, but I'm a pretty jaded human being, and I don't get shaken up by much. But man, when a movie actually does it, there's nothing more exciting. And I've seen this movie at least 50 times in my life. No exaggeration. Every time. I know exactly what's going to happen. I know it beat for beat, and I still have to fight not throwing up because I'm so scared. It's incredible. Yeah, if you want to watch the best, in my opinion, living horror filmmaker, even though he also does lots of movies that aren't horror that are also
Did you see the newest one?
Perfect. Oh yeah, Cloud's incredible. He made 3 movies last year.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy bitch.
He keeps cranking them out.
Yep, and he does it so fast, and then I watch it, and I'm like, why is this better than everyone else's movie that they spent their lifetime on?
Well, he also, I don't know. They just they marketed that movie with The Mask from, as being the main imagery.
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie and The Mask is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bit. And it's still scary. It's a bit, but it's also still scary. Yeah.
Well, he's funny too. That's
He's
the thing
very
that also he loves comedy in his films.
Yeah.
And he loves to whiplash you.
Yeah.
Where you'll be having a giggle, and then again that stomach pit will come back.
Well, that empty void of the internet is so tied into this most recent movie of the internet is dread.
Yeah.
Even
Yes.
your most positive experience on the internet.
Yeah.
Dread is a part of it.
Yeah. He made a movie about how brilliantly the internet rotted all of us.
Yeah.
Without ever needing to say that at all.
No, he's not.
He just did it in the film. He doesn't preach. He's never preached.
No. And he understands. Especially that movie is about how important economically it is for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not judging us for where we're at, but it is reminding us where we're at.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah. It's the best.
Are there any movies in the 24-hour marathon that you want to talk about?
I mean, there is lots. As I said, there'll be a couple more soon. Let's see. Actually, I guess I can just focus on one of them for right now because I'm very excited about it. One of our favorite things to do is fly in really rare stuff when possible. And Ishiro Honda made a film called Matango, often known as Attack of the Mushroom People. But do your best to forget that title, because you'll be disappointed. If you think you're going to watch a movie called Attack of the Mushroom People, this is not that movie. This movie is called Matango. And the only way to show it right now in its original Japanese cut, original Japanese language, is to fly in this single print from the National Film Archive of Japan. They were kind enough to help us do that with the sweet friends at the Library of Congress. Because sometimes for these international archives, there's a thing called FIOF, which is an organization. Basically, very few people are a part of it anymore. But essentially, it is if you're trying to borrow from a really big international archive, they will need a recommendation letter from a FIOF-approved organization. And so the Library of Congress, shout out to Julian and Rebecca and everyone in the booth, because like I got teary-eyed reading the letter, because they were like, not only is the Music Box trusted with these incredibly rare, one-of-a-kind prints, but we actually ask them questions all the time. We ask them for inspections and advice on how to do it. So the Library of Congress was like, the Music Box projection team is one of the best in the world. You are fine. So thank you to them for saying that, and for this team to being that great. And this has happened in multiple marathons where I try to book prints and the people say, we don't loan it. And then we just hop in and say, well, Julian Antos is the tech director. Julian is a celebrity. He's going to hate me that I'm saying this, but it's fine because it's true. In the world of film preservation and archive, Julian is a celebrity. Yeah. You say his name and people trust you implicitly. And so it's happened multiple times where we get a no, and then I say, well, Julian will be running it. And they say, oh, no problem. Please let him know we say hello. Immediately.
To embarrass him further, Julian has fanboys.
Oh, yeah.
There's fanboys and girls who come around and be like, is Julian around?
Yeah, wow. I'm one of them.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I've spent a lot of time with that man.
I
and
did
every
start
time
the fan page. But,
yeah.
I'm so proud of the work that they do, and like proud
it's amazing.
It just like it makes the city better. Like to be able to have prints in shows like that, because there's that trusted team, and like you're saying, the work ethic is a part of it. It's not clout. Mm-hmm. It's work.
No, it's just incredible dedication.
Yeah. And
not giving up, right? You know, we all fuck shit up.
Of course.
And knowing that things are a part of the learning process and you just keep going. I mean, the amount of times that Julian or Rebecca or Allie or anyone else in the booth tells me about a new thing they learned, or shows me some fucking screw on one of the projectors or something that they've some newfangled thing. You know, it's constant because they're constantly learning. All they want is for film itself to continue to show and people to be able to have access to it. And it's so beautiful, and we are so lucky. So
lucky. I set this up about 45 minutes ago, but I do want you to talk a little bit about TerrorVision.
Yes, we are sitting in the TerrorVision video store. It is a video rental store and retail store. It's a partnership between TerrorVision and Analog. Analog was formerly a micro cinema and VHS video rental store that went away, and then there was also an old video store called Odd Obsession, which is a stalwart of Chicago history. For the nerds out there, we can play, don't need 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We can play 3 degrees of film home video boutique, and I can connect it to someone who worked at Odd Obsession. The founder of Vendor Syndrome, Joe Rubin, worked there when he was a child, and through the days, like so endless film critics, Katie Reif worked there, Brian McKendry worked there, like all the Ignatiy Vishnevetsky, all this crew, they all know each other still. That's such an influence on culture. It's wild how many of the people from there are now running shit in a beautiful way. But anyway, Odd Obsession unfortunately went under, and the kind folks at TerrorVision bought that collection so that it wouldn't get tossed or lost. So we rent that collection to people, and then we also sell all sorts of stuff: Betamax, VHS, Laserdisc, records, soundtracks. We got Deadly Prey prints, cassette tapes, you know, everything you could imagine. But basically, it's just a celebration of physical media, the store. And it's been incredible. People have been really grateful that it's here. I think folks are excited for something a little ragtag on Southport, you know, and I'm truly not even shit talking any of the other businesses. I think folks are just excited to walk into somewhere that literally has a little dirt on the floor, because things can feel, things, and not everything, but a lot of these places can feel a little overly clean, a little sterilized, I think. And so I think folks like walking in and smelling old books and, you know, records and all that shit.
Yeah, the smell of cigarettes wafting back in as the person who's selling you stuff. It's amazing. It's a part of it. Yeah. It's a part of it.
Someone did tell me, they were like, you got to get them to let you smoke in here for the last week. And they were so funny. They were like, well, my video rental store, and this someone from like Oklahoma or something was like, that was part of it when we were kids. Like, it was all like, you could barely see because the dudes working there just smoked weed and cigarettes all the time while they were working, and everyone knew and no one cared.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I guess I had a couple more questions. Is there anything in TerraVision right now that you are surprised hasn't sold yet?
There's tons of shit, honestly. Well, it's because it's gotten to the point there. I mean, there are so many, like, literally, and there's at least, there's well over 15, 20,000 objects in this room, this small little room. So there's a lot to miss, There's some really rare VHS stuff that folks should hunt for in October, because they're also a lot cheaper than anywhere else to get them. We try to take care of folks. Most of that shelf there in the middle is my import section for home video stuff. So if you're one of those nerds, I just ordered a bunch of shit. And unfortunately, obviously, with tariffs and things going on in this world, it's been a lot more difficult to do that. So what would normally take me a shipment to get in 2 weeks took 3 months.
Whoa.
But of benefit for the customer, about half the shit on that shelf has gone out of print while that shit was stuck in customs. And it's still priced at what it would have been if we got it before it is. So you can come get some goodies if you like kung fu films, if you like Hong Kong action films, rare horror shit, whatever. We got them all. Radiance 88 films, all that good shit. But yeah, I don't know. There's stuff in every corner. Like this behind you, these insane cameras. This is like an old field audio recorder.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, most everything is for sale. Some of the stuff is not, but yeah, I don't know. And I will say we're gonna try to do the impossible for October and try to double basically what's in here right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, we haven't figured out how we're gonna do it yet.
Yeah.
We really want to like make it unbelievably insane in here for the whole month.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we want it to be difficult to navigate when there's more
love
than
that.
one person in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of store.
Yeah.
Where you just like, it's a maze you get lost in.
Yes. Yeah, that's gonna happen in here.
Yeah, you're gonna like open up a portal to hell, and you can go down into it and
That's right.
be sold something.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Do you have any favorite screenings that you've programmed at the Music Box?
There are so many. I've been really, really lucky. There's so many of them, but I guess one of the ones I talk about a lot and why it's so important to me is actually because it was a turning point after pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously no one knew exactly what was going to happen when people tried to come back. We were all worried. We did the drive-in during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, that's actually what solidified Music Box to the place it is now, because I think folks were so grateful and they were excited. And I think they could tell too, because we looked very sick, how much we put in to try to pull that off. And so anyway, after pandemic was over, we came back and it was October, and I really wanted to show this movie called 964 Pinocchio, which is a Japanese underground horror film. It's amazing. And it used to be very hard to find. Thankfully, these days you can buy it on fucking 4K. It rocks. It's crazy. It's nuts what we used to, like the amount I paid for that tape back in the day. But it rules that people can access it. But anyway, got it booked, told Ryan and Katie, I was like, look, I know it's going to be like 20 people, 18 of my friends who I'd made come, but let's just try it, and it was like well over 200 people. And well over half of that audience was literal high schoolers and college kids. And I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I almost cried in the intro, and people correctly laughed at me while I got emotional talking about how beautiful excessive vomit is in that movie. But talking to the kids after, and they were just so excited that someone was willing to put stuff like that on screen. So many of them were like, we have our little fucked up movie clubs or whatever with each other, but we can't ever watch them in theater because no one will show them, And so that screening will always be a fork in the road for me in a great way that really like filled me with such hope and such joy. And I've been running off the juice from that since then and just going further and further. And the people who come out in Chicago have just been continually showing up, wanting more, ready to be challenged, So that's that's one of the all-timers for me for sure.
Yeah, Chicago is a really special town. I know we have a podcast about it, but I truly in my soul I really believe that like this place is one of the places for cinema, and I think there's going to be all throughout the month of October, November, December. There's going to be great screenings across the city, and Will's always been for me like such a champion of like go catch that one at that theater. Like you're a door opener and you support new programmers and you help people out. So I just want to thank you again for that.
Oh, thank you. All I want, my little soapbox that I'll be real quick on. I love this city so much. In my opinion, we have not only everything we need, but more than everything we need in the city to have film scenes on par with New York and LA. It's already here. The only thing in the way is, I think, all of us, myself included, every fucking programmer in the city, at different points, whether it's current or not, has let insecurity and pride and weird shit and jealousy get in the way. And it's created this strange environment where instead of uplifting each other and helping the city really come alive, like most places do in New York and LA, we're fighting each other instead. And what I want is, I was talking to Jeremy about this yesterday, if I had a night off from work, I want to pull my hair out trying to figure out which theater I'm going to go to because there's so much incredible shit happening. And there are nights like that already, let me be clear. That does happen in this city, but it could be happening every single day. And the more that happens, the better every theater will do. It will constantly feed itself. I just would hope and pray to encourage people to fucking celebrate and help each other out instead of fighting with each other about who shows what or when shows where or whatever the fuck, or if someone's being shady and all that shit. Let's just fucking talk to each other instead of texting or social media or whatever it may be on my old man shit. Just talk to each other again is what I want. In-person conversations. If you have a problem with someone, reach out to them. Instead of talking shit on them and trying to convince people not to go to their theater or not to go to their shows, instead talk to them. See if you can fucking work it out. And chances are you'll probably get along with each other. Or you can be like, we don't get along, but I love the shit they do. You should still go to it. I won't be there. That's cool. Whatever. That's totally fine. Just support each other, love each other, and stop on a, overly simplify it. Stop being in junior high. Let's just support each other. The world is literally burning to the ground right now, and it blows my mind that people are fighting like this in the city when we should just be celebrating every single second that we get with each other, especially those of us so fucking lucky to be in a world where we get to make a living showing movies. That is so cool and so beautiful. And also, at the end of the day, movies do not matter even one tiny iota compared to all the things going on in the world. So let's take a breath, take a step back, and remember that we're just showing movies and it's fine.
Yeah, we're not crabs in a barrel. You know?
No, we can. Yeah, it's cool.
There's enough oxygen in the room. I always tell people raising tides lift all boats.
Absolutely.
I am a huge supporter of, film programming across the city. And I want to see new cinemas open up on the south and west sides.
Yep.
I want to see the city, spread out a little bit, because I do think like with the way that the city is organized, it feels like we're becoming a smaller and smaller town. But it's not true. There's so much of the city, and there's always more room.
There's always more room. Always. Yeah. And as you said with the rising tides, truly one of the things I fantasize about that I did in LA, we did a complete Chantal Ackerman retrospective, but it was literally at 11 theaters across Los Angeles. And it was one of the most beautiful month and a halves of my life. I saw parts of the city I'd never seen. I got to see theaters I'd never seen. Everything from micro cinemas to like the fucking Academy Museum. Everyone was involved. And even people, again, that don't even get along with each other. But everyone was like, this is worth it. Let's come together, put everything aside. It's going to be a beautiful celebration of this filmmaker that so many people care about. And it was so beautiful. Putting on something like that is astronomically expensive. There are really no theaters in town who could even foot that bill right now solo. And they shouldn't have to. what we could do is do the same thing out here. If we can all fucking chill, we can help each other out and do amazing things like fly in guests who have impossible bills that come with them, fly in prints that are impossibly expensive.
Room on the
and
schedule.
fucking share
Like,
it.
so you don't have to take up an entire month of programming
Yep.
for it.
Yep.
Like you
Spread
could
it out.
spread it out a little bit.
Yep.
And that's a difficult thing, but I mean that's better for the city.
Yeah.
And if
I
we're
just
we're a podcast talking about what's good for the city,
Yep.
that will help the heartbeat of the city.
Absolutely. And it helps folks know that we actually give a shit about them everywhere. Because again, it's why the drive-in did so well. Because so many people came up and were truly like beyond emotional, who were like, thanks for giving a fuck about Pilsen. It's been a long time since anyone has, you know? And it sucks that we can't keep that going all the time. It's impossible right now, personnel wise, but they are still open. Go support them if you can. They're wonderful. But that was just so inspiring and exciting because and again, so many teenagers were like, we've never even seen the music box. You know how fucking hard it is to get there? Of course we can't go there. And you know what I mean? And I experienced it when I would get done at like 4 a.m. and wait for the bus. Turns out the bus just doesn't come anymore at night there. So I would walk like 5 miles, like to try to get home from Pilsen in the middle of the night. These people don't have access to the same shit that we do, you know? And it rocks that more stuff's happening there. Tesseract in the future, all this stuff. I just want this whole ass city to have the opportunity to just love movies if they want to, you know? And we can. It's all here. Everything is here. We got it all.
We got to lay the foundation though.
Yep.
If it's going to be in the future,
Yep.
we got to lay a foundation. Just a final question, something that I like to ask guests. What is a food spot, a Chicago food spot that is like the Will Morris spot? Like, what is your recommendation?
I might be controversial here, and I apologize in advance because technically this is just across the border and it's in Skokie. So this place is one of the reasons I survived living somewhere that I didn't like living, known as Evanston. Just to be clear, a lot of amazing folks and places in Evanston, but we'll just say a certain unnamed organization and some other folks that people are talking about right now are really running shit into the ground. Anyway, a place that I would go there all the time to feel okay, and it's the only reason I drive back over there now, Herm's Palace is what it's called. It is, oh my God. You walk in, feels proper like a good old school diner, but very ragtag, run by this dude and his son, some other people. It's the kind of place, though, I had been there twice just to pick up food. Hadn't even sat down there yet. I ordered it, went to pick it up. The second time I walked in, granted, because my partner's name was on it, so he thinks I'm Jamie. Totally fine. But the second time I walked in, this guy was like, "What's up, Jamie? How's it going?" And we started talking. He comes to the music box sometimes now. But this place... It's not actually his name. But yeah. I know. But this place... amazing stuff. What I get, my favorite order to get is an eggplant parmesan sandwich and a triple order of deep fried mushrooms. They do deep fried mushrooms correctly. Don't fear, this is not just a deep fried place. You can get stuff that is not deep fried that's also excellent. Chopped chicken sandwich is what a lot of people get. Vast menu, excellent. They also, if you sit down in there, vibes off the charts because it's all just regulars who come in and talk about, like, man, what happened to Evanston? Why is thanks, Herm. Like, it feels amazing. Like, it feels like when you go to a diner at like 4 a.m. and there's that crew of old dudes who read their newspapers there every morning. You just listen to them talk. It's like that. And not even just older folks, but
they
it
smell
feels
pickled.
like that. Yes. But it feels community.
Yeah.
Everyone that comes in knows him. They all, like, it's amazing. Also, they have high life.
Wow.
Hey.
You can get a beer while you're having these
That's
deep fried
beautiful.
mushrooms. Yeah, Herm's Palace fucking rocks.
That's a
so
great
just
choice.
hop right over. It's just outside the
You know,
limit.
as
but-
much as we try to, as Chicagoans, be like, that's actually not Chicago. Chicago land is a thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, also, I've also, as someone who grew up in the suburbs, but I also am a snob against the suburbs.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that, like, a lot of the Chicago neighborhoods we love used to be the suburbs.
Yes.
Like, it's
Yes.
the relationship between the city and the suburbs isn't so, like, separate. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the ones that border, like
Yeah.
Cicero, where you grew up, and Evanston, they have a certain energy to them that is not, the the ones like Gray's Lake or that's how that.
Yeah. We're not in Tina Fey land.
No.
We're
Yeah,
Skokie.
yeah.
We're close, but
Yeah.
you got to keep going.
You see, but like I grew up going to Skokie Water Park. Like I had my birthday parties.
Skokie
in Skokie
rocks. Like
Yeah.
Skokie, it's changed a lot too, but Skokie still has a lot of that good proper energy in my opinion.
Yeah, and Skokie isn't one of the fancy suburbs. You know what I mean?
No, it is not. And
So
they
it's-
also they just have the yellow line, which is broken down every day, and it's one stop. So poor Skokie folks. I don't think I've ever
Coughing.
fucking
The train
seen
itself is
the
coughing.
Yeah, does it run? I don't know if I've ever seen it actually fucking work. Every time
Yeah.
I would get on the purple line, there'd be people waiting for the yellow, and they'd make the announcement again, and they'd shuffle down to the bus. Poor Skokie. One stop, guys.
That's
it's an easy
amazing.
train.
Well, thank you, Will, for coming on the podcast,
Oh,
talking
thanks
with
for
us.
having me. Yep.
You make you make the city run, and I'm very appreciative of the work you do. So
Well, thank you both. I love your show. Very excited to be on it. It's been wonderful. I truly, and you know this, I fucking hate podcasts. I've listened to all of yours, and I will continue to do so. Probably skip this one for obvious reasons, but I'll listen to all the parts that I'm not in. But no, you guys are doing great work, and again, I fucking love Chicago, and you're trying to bring it together and celebrate it. Also, be honest about it, not be naive about it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, and it's crucial right now. And to be mildly over dramatic while these fucking fools try to come in and get us to engage in a civil war.
Yeah.
I love hearing more things, trying to bring folks together instead, and remind them why. Good luck, guys, trying to do that. Chicago protects its own. So
exactly right.
Please be considerate when talking on your phone or listening to electronic devices.
Doors closing.